Hi everybody. So recently I was asked about a viewfinder or a viewmaster wheel. And for those of you that know, there are plenty of these out on the internet, and you can find the SVG files, there's dies, there's all sorts of different things. But as everybody knows, I am a Kiwi Lane representative. I'm a creative partner, and I wanted to figure out how to get this done using Kiwi Lane templates. And as you can see from what I've got down here, I did exactly that. And these are the three that I used. I used rings, Quirky #1, and accents, the #3, the star. And you'll see why I used the star in a minute. I know you're probably wondering, what? Okay, but it'll come out. Bear with me. And then the other thing that I use that isn't Kiwi Lane is these little notches here. Those were made with a little punch from Probocraft. I have had this for 20 plus years. But it was perfect because it cut the notches out just right. Also, for those that want to know the size of this, this is about 5.5 inches. Okay, so the nice thing about it is if you have a 6x6 piece of scrap paper left over, you can make it with that, and I'm going to show you how. Now, these Viewmaster, or everybody calls them different things. I think they're Viewmaster files, but they come in different things. This is a small one from Echo Park, but as you can see, it's only like 3 inches. It's not very big, and it has like 0 to no room for pictures in the little slots. So this is more of a decorative type of piece to add to your layouts. Another die that I have seen and found, of course, is the Tim Holtz Alliterations, his picture wheel from Sizzix. And this, of course, is a regular Sizzix die, so you do need their machine to use it. A lot of the newer machines will not take these types of dies. So the steel rule dies are pretty much now exclusive to AccuCuts, Sizzix, and those brands. The benefit to the steel rule dies is that these will cut wood, veneers, chipboards, and very, very, very thick cardstock, or a lot of multiple layers of cardstock. These will not. These, even some of the heavyweight cardstock, these thin dies, the thinlits, and the etched dies, they're called low profile dies. They do not actually cut really heavy cardstock. You got to make a couple different passes. So that's something to be known for these types of dies. So this is another reason why I have both of them. But as you can also see, and I don't know if you can see where the lines are, the Tim Holtz one is about 1 inch wider. So it's about 4 inches around. And the windows on this Viewmaster is a little, it's almost 1/2 inch. So getting a picture in there, if you have like the index prints and stuff like that from Walmart, you could actually put that in these ones here. Okay, so those are the dies and everything else. There is another die that came out. Elizabeth Crafts has a Planner Essentials line, and this fits in their planner book, but it has the Viewmaster, and it has a half one. So you could do, if you had a piece of paper, like a pattern paper, and you wanted to stick it underneath like we do with Kiwi Lane, this one is perfect die-wise. It's great size and everything else. But again, if you don't have the dies and you're a tried and true Kiwi Lane buff like I am, it can be made. All right, and I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. It's actually very simple. It takes a little bit to cut it out because you have to cut out the little tiny bits, but it is simple to do. All you're going to do is you're going to take a ring, and then take the rings #3. And I before I did this video, I'll admit to you, I really just kind of eyeballed which of the rings would be the right size for me. And I really just lucked out picking the right one. Because one of the things that I wanted is I wanted to have an opening that was big enough to have a nice picture in. And this is almost 1 inch opening. It's actually like 7/8 of an inch, or just over 3/4. So that's what I wanted to have. And if you have punches, this is a 3/4 inch punch. And you'll see it is just slightly smaller than the Viewmaster window that I've created. But if you had the 7/8, that would work beautifully for this as well. But what I found that works even more perfectly is in the Quirky set, there's this little thought bubble right here, or conversation bubble, however you want to call it. But if you were not to draw this little piece here, it's a perfect little square. And it worked beautifully, and it had the little curved edges and everything else. So I saw that when I was looking through my stash, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. But then I ran into the problem of, okay, how do I now place all of these in the right exact spots to go all the way around? I was like, yeah, that's gonna be a problem. So I played with it a little bit, and what I decided was if I took the star from Accents, it gives me a 5-point marker system, okay, if you will. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place that marker system here, 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 and here. And then I'm going to make my little notches, okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to give me a really good window of where I need to keep my pieces in between. I'm going to cut this really quick so my punch can actually get to my notches, because I can't do it if I still have the paper around it. Now, another thing that you can do, and I'm going to show you how to do this later, is if you have a Brother Scan and Cut, if you were to trace this in pen, in a black ink, you could run it through your Scan and Cut and have the Scan and Cut cut it for you. You have to know how to use the programs in order to get the windows and everything else cut for you, but it can be done. And if you want to do these little notches, what you can do also using the same template is use this eye, and you can trace those notches in there using that eye. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my little notch hole punch here, and I'm going to come in, and I'm going to give myself about, I did about a 1/4 of an inch in, and I just eyeballed it. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't have to be perfect. See that one? I did a little bit to the edge. It's fine. Okay, and that is my reference point. Those are now my reference points. Now, what you want to do when you're using this Quirky template is you want to make sure that your spacing between the flat edge out here and this whole outer edge is the same all the way around. Now, again, I just eyeballed this. I'm not a perfectionist. The only thing that I made sure of was to try and keep as much distance between here as I could, so that I didn't have really, really thin areas, because I knew I wanted to put pictures and stuff behind that. So you can, you know, like I said, you can kind of work it a little bit, and because you're working in pencil, you can always go back in and change it around a little bit. But what you do want to make sure of is that it's the same distance from here to here as it is from here to here. And what that's going to do is that's going to make sure this square is pretty much as parallel to that rounded edge up there as you can get it. Okay. And then you just go ahead and do your box. And then I don't worry about this because I can actually cut that with my scissors. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get that angle to where this distance to here and this distance to here is the same. Now, if you wanted to, one of the things that you could do is put a piece of washi tape or painter's tape or something across the template up here to give you that reference point of that line. Like I said, I've done this a couple times, so I knew how to run through it with the video, so I know what I'm kind of doing on this. Okay, and again, I'm making sure that there's enough space here that I'm not leaving myself too little to cut and that it was going to break apart or have a problem. And I'm also turning the wheel so that my box is kind of straight up in front of me, so that I don't get my directions and a lot of my angles mixed up. Okay, and I just keep turning it. Okay. Turning it. And again, it's not necessarily going to be absolutely perfect. If you wanted the squares to be a little bit more perfect and symmetrical and whatever else, you probably could take the smaller rings and draw another smaller circle to kind of give yourself a guideline to use. Me personally, I didn't really need that as much. So I'm pretty good with eyeballing it and winging it. Okay. If I need to adjust it a little tiny bit, I can. It's not that big of a deal. See, like this last one is coming really close to both of these. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to adjust this one a little bit. And move it out. And then I'm going to adjust this one a little bit. That's why we do this in pencil, to make it a little bit more forgiving. Okay, so I'm going to do this one close to that. Like that, and then I'll give myself a little bit better room here. Still a little on the thin side, which is okay. I can move it up just a tad. The closer you come to this outside line, the less of a gap you'll have on the inside line, if that makes any sense. So you can move it up towards that outside just a hair more, and that'll give you a little bit more room on the inside. Won't bring them as close together. Okay. So again, you can just play with it a little bit and get it to where you like it and where you're happy. Okay. All right, and that works. That works for me. Alrighty. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a really nice sharp pair of scissors. These ones will poke a hole in your foot, and if you drop them on there, trust me, I've done it. So, and then you just got to kind of work it in really carefully. If you're good with an X-Acto blade, you can do this with an X-Acto knife as well. I personally, I like the control of scissors when I go around these corners because it really gives my nice clean edge a nice little twirl to it. I'm very big on moving paper and not scissors when I'm cutting, so it's a lot easier for me to do those nice edges. And that's that. And then you just continue that and you go all the way around like that, and it gives you your wheel. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and do like that center dot, if you really want to, I can just take my crocodile here and my center points, yeah, right about, I'm going to call it there. And then all I'm going to do, whoops, get my little bar out of the way here. Is go in there and make my little hole. And there you go. That is your Viewmaster wheel using 3 templates from Kiwi Lane. Anyways, I hope you like it. Let me know if you do. Leave me a comment and go ahead and join and subscribe to my channel for any other tips and tricks and everything else with the Kiwi Lane. And I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.